Hey everybody, welcome to another installment of the LNO Fireside Chat. Today we're joined by the Panhandle Panthers. I've got Tyler on the line and Andrew on the line. Tyler, if you just want to go ahead and introduce yourself and then hand it over to Andrew, that'd be great.
Yeah, I am Staff Sergeant Tyler Schmidt. Work over at the 33rd Maintenance Group Quality Assurance Office here on Eglin Air Force Base. Crew chief by trade on the F-35. Yeah.
Okay. Andrew, are you there?
So I'm Technical Sergeant Andrew McCamish. Currently work in the 58th AMU at the 33rd AMXS. Crew chief by trade, currently sitting as a section chief in the specialist section. So that's new. Yeah.
Cool. And then I also have Amanda Dennis on the line too. Amanda, if you just want to give a brief shout out.
Hi. I'm pretty sure I know both of you guys. Just came from Eglin, joining the Tesseract team here. I am on the CI team, and I'm just listening in to learn what Sergeant Barry does every day. And yeah, excited to be here. Awesome to see Eglin representing.
Yeah, congrats.
Awesome. All right. If you guys want to tell us a little bit about your project, where you're at in terms of the Ether Sprint and making it to the semifinals. If you just want to hone in on the problem set that you guys are getting after and what exactly you've done to get after that specific problem set. So I'll turn it over to you guys to kick it off. Tyler.
So our project, in essence, is the ACE concept Red Gear Pack-Out Kit. To make things easy, every fighter jet, cargo jet, bomber, everything has what's called red gear. It's just safing equipment for when the jet's sitting parked static after flight operations, whatever you want to call it. In essence, the equipment that the F-35 program provides is bulky, oversized. It's not good quality, and it's difficult to pack and isolate into small containers the way that it would be ideal for the way the Air Force is aiming with, agile combat employment. So what we did is we partnered with a company named Kennan. It's a company we've been using on several different projects. We have two separate AFWERX contracts going right now for different items. Some of those are actually included in this kit, like the canopy cover. We partnered with them to take an already existing item that they have made based off of an old AFWERX contract for the F-22, and we pretty much used the product to create this kit. Backpack size kit, fits in ISUs or travel pods, or even behind the seat of the ejection seat on the F-35. We wanted to consolidate everything that was required to safe an aircraft, so that in the event an F-35 ever had to, last minute leave or forward deploy to islands or, chains of islands in real world scenarios, you wouldn't need to worry about packing ISUs full of this bulky red gear that just takes up a lot of space, right? So like if I can take an entire unit of 12 to 24 aircraft and send all of them without having to load an ISU full of any -21, that saves me anywhere between like 2 to 4 separate pallets worth of space for other mission critical equipment like engine trailers, component lift stands, age equipment, things that might matter bigger picture instead of just, foam covers and things that we use to statically park these aircraft. So really we took all these ideas that we've had created and built with Kennan and consolidated it down to a kit that consists of the PMAC covers, a TMS heat exchanger plug, 3 hand inflatable intake and exhaust plugs, and then obviously the solar shade and the canopy cover, which, like I said, is the AFWERX provided project that's, I think, rounding out in phase 3 right now. So it's a long moving project, finally culminating down to, like you guys said, the semifinals. Hopefully we become finalists so that we can take this project and promote it to all of the MAGCOMs involved that might benefit from using something like this. Our end goal is to take this and make it a JSF supply system item, so that I can just go into the program we use to order parts, type in that part number and order it, instead of having to use unit funding in order to buy something that is mission critical for these deployable units. This thing can make a huge difference in cost saving, as well as the speed in which we can forward deploy. And without it, these units don't even know that it may exist yet, but if they had it, it would make a massive difference. And I want to make it so that anyone can just order these kits and not have to pay out of an annual pot of money. Units like us, right? AETC, we don't get massive amounts of money to just go and spend on these things the way that, MAGCOMs like ACC and PACAF do. So it took us over a year to wait to just order a set of, I think we have 5 here in total. We have our own sets that we've paid for, but I'd like to make it so that someone like Eielson can just go and order a set of 12 and then never have to worry about paying out of PACAF money. Even though they could, I don't want them to have to. It should be something that's really available for anyone that needs it, because I believe it's mission critical.
So a lot to take in there, Tyler. Thank you for that. And I think
Yeah, sorry.
it's all good. I think one of the big things is the problem it gets after, right? Like, you essentially, by using this in an ACE kind of deployment or ACE kind of contingency, you're saving space for other equipment that might be essential. By minimizing the footprint that would typically be there from a legacy type solution from the previous kind of big overbearing red covers, right? I think what else is also interesting with what you guys pointed out is your intent for this project, right, isn't just you as a unit, it's for everybody, right? You're trying to share the wealth with the entire Air Force, and you don't see that a lot with innovation projects. So I think that's something to applaud, and other people should look at. As of right now, how is the cost if a unit were to go purchase it right now? Is it within the realm of feasible, or is that also part of the next step, is to bring it down to a feasible cost within the flying hour program to get it listed as a supply item?
So with each unit, that kind of changes, right? So like if an AETC unit, or even like an ACC based unit that's only for training, like Nellis, if units like us come out and say like, hey, we want to buy these, it may be a little bit unreasonable, mainly because we do so little of the actual ACE concept deployment. We're more focused on like TDYs or having to, do last minute bug outs because of storms. But units like, PACAF units like Eielson or Tyndall, even coming up here soon, like those guys, the cost of this product is easily a feasible amount for units like that, where the money is a lot higher. Those pots go a lot deeper for them. For someone like us, it is a little bit less feasible, because we also don't have a necessarily super valid reason for use. But those guys should have no problem. I have no doubt that the cost is a very minor issue, if not an issue at all, for those bigger picture flying units that can deploy.
If I can jump in here, I don't know if I'm coming through or not. So I was actually on the phone with Kenan yesterday talking about upscaling, and because when you really like put your hands on this stuff and you see what we designed and what we came up with, and then you look at what the program provides, this is leaps and bounds better on all fronts, honestly. It's just trying to get the, obviously the program money, they have a lot more than individual units, and that's where we want to get after, is that we want these coming out of, we don't necessarily understand the different pots of money, but we know that, at a group and a wing level, we don't, our pockets aren't as deep necessarily as say MAGCOM or the F-35 Enterprise, right? Like, and what we're designing with minor changes can be utilized across all platforms. It's not just A models. I can tell you specifically, the canopy cover fits A's and C's with minor changes, because the B models have a different shape, but it's the same concept. They, change the pattern up a little bit and it'll fit there. Intake and exhaust plugs are going to be the same. Maybe exhaust plugs might be different on the B variants. I'm not quite sure, but the groundwork's laid to where this pack out kit can be utilized on all variants. And some quick numbers, right? These intake and exhaust plugs, the inflatable ones, we actually just used them real world. We had to evacuate some aircraft due to inclement weather. We were able to put 6 kits together in probably 15-20 minutes, and that's just because they were still in the bags. Like they were brand new. We actually our wing ordered 10 inflatable intake and exhaust kits, 5 for each AMU that we had, and we were able to pack those kits up into a duffel bag in a matter of minutes and be able to throw them in a travel pod, and they could evac with all the required dash 21. They went from talking to Kenan, their processes went from, it took them approximately 20 hours per inflatable plug due to just their the machines that they had. I was talking to Kenan and they're saying, their laminate machines or heat presses and whatnot just weren't up to the size that they needed, but they're already ordering new equipment that's supposed to come in a couple months. That's going to take their process down from 20 hours per plug to 15 minutes per plug. So they're already looking into upscaling how many they can design and support annually, monthly, whatnot. And the big thing is that these covers, so this kit that we're actually working on, there's nothing available right now. That's the biggest thing, is like there's no the program provided TDY covers that we couldn't even pull out of travel pods. So there's instances where we actually sent them on the road with the aircraft, and we were unable to remove them from the travel pod, so then we couldn't use them, right? So there's actually nothing there that we could A, cover the intake and exhaust with, B, there's nothing to actually cover the transparency until you utilize the canopy cover, which actually just closed out in December, so it's available for purchase now. But as far as the pricing goes, I think like Tyler said, it's the money's there. It's just, when you compare what the program charges for their required Dash 21, almost all of these come in under, if there is a equivalent, right? So the PMAC covers, I think the set is almost half the price. So we have 2, like the flushboard covers, the PMAC covers, you have to order a pair, right? 2 on each aircraft. I think the ballpark number was something like from the program office, what they provide is somewhere like $8,000 a set, and with the PMAC covers that came in at I think around 4 or 5. And they're more they're actually transportable. They don't damage the sensor and the LO that they actually go on, and then you can roll them up and stuff them into whatever you need to. And then there's no FO risk, right? There's no part. All the magnets and everything involved there's something like triple layered and stitched into place and welded and whatnot. So it's just all around better quality than what the program's putting out, and it's more user friendly, like coming from a crew chief by trade. Like that's the big stuff. Like we don't need moving, we don't need something with 20 pieces that you only need 1 to do the job, right? That's just more parts that can break and more parts that do break. So
Yeah, I think so. Hone in on that, right? Like in terms of, pointing out that the money's there, right? And as you guys are navigating, what kind of process that's going to take through like the JPO or the F-35 program. I think it's also important to highlight the requirements that are already out there, because am I wrong in saying that the requirement already exists to have these covers or a similar kind of protective cover? So it does exist, right? And then highlighting the fact that the cost associated is probably significantly cheaper for the long run in terms of damage repair, all of those other like things that come into it, is a good way to shape your guys' argument, because you've said it there already, right? Like you've done this real world, and the capabilities right there, right? I think that's a good way to help advocate for your project, but as well as next steps, right? As you guys are going through Ether Sprint, and you kind of touched on it, with if you're selected to go to be the finals, and you're looking for that right advocacy and the right the right office to touch base with. And you're trying to figure out who's out there, because you don't know what you don't know, right? So who are some of the key champions that you would like to see like help advocate for your project?
So just a few like very like base level answers would be obviously like a POC of some sort from within all of these MAGCOMs that fly these F-35s in deployable situations. I have several people within Eielson, Tyndall, even like in some of these guard units that we've pushed this product out to, and people are aware of it. People are tracking it. We have an opportunity to possibly get a set made and sent to Eielson for upcoming scheduled training missions that involve the ACE concept. Additionally, though, just for the bigger picture, we're working with the F-35 Fleet Management Office to try to establish the like start to finish formal steps for like NSN assignment, because it's not just like we get this product in NSN and then it's orderable. We have to get an NSN for it. Then we also have to get approval to get it added into the JSF supply system. And these are the people we need to route those kinds of questions, comments, and concerns to. So we've started that formal process as well. Additionally, what is it? I'm blanking here, but yeah, the Fleet Management Office is the big one right now. We have POCs within JPO as well. Additionally, with like Tesseract and the AFWorks contracts, we've done our due diligence in trying to make JPO and Lockheed Martin directly aware of what we're doing, and that we're being legitimate about all the steps, the development, everything. So we have POCs within JPO that are taking these ideas and these covers and in essence briefing them at like a big group level. How involved and intricate that is, I can't really speak on it because I don't know how deep those kinds of meetings really go and who's all involved in it. But this stuff is getting briefed at a JPO level to people that it matters to, and they will see the product regardless. And it's just a matter of whether they get excited about it or not excited about it. But we're trying to attack it from as many avenues as physically possible to create awareness, interest, and desire for the product. Because if I can get enough people, or if we can get enough people to say, hey, we need this in the Air Force, we need this in the JSF program, I don't know how Lockheed Martin can say no.
I think currently, just to kind of continue on with Sergeant Schmidt, I can tell you our JPO lead right now, they're currently taking parts of this kit to RMIP triage, right? Another pot of money I don't necessarily understand, but our JPO POC, Brian Milligan, is said that that's the route that he thinks works best. And his goal currently, if I can remember correctly, is to review all of our testing procedures and parameters that we kind of combined, and when we TD and TOs to figure out what each piece of support equipment, the parameters that they had to withstand or be tested to. So we dug through all that when we were designing everything, and then they were actually tested at the facility. We have all the data that everything, from our understanding and everything we could find, that what each product had to meet as far as testing, and everything passed. But that's a separate thing. JPO and we being the end users and the TPOCs for like the AFWorks contracts, just because it meets our standards and we believe that it meets the standards that were set forth in JTD and TOs, it's a completely different ballgame to pay Lockheed Martin to review them, right? And that's what that was the issue we ran into for at least the canopy cover project. Is we built it to the specifications that were spelled out in JTD and any support equipment TO, but it's the AFWorks contract doesn't give money Lockheed Martin to spend man hours on reviewing what we did and then basically putting their stamp of approval on it. That's the hurdle that we're kind of going through right now. And with Brian up at JPO running it through RMIP triage, that's the battle that he's or that's what he's looking to of our testing, any additional testing that they deem required, that being covered, and then the actual writing into JTD as optional equipment. That way, it's not necessarily like you are required to have these items, but any 35s that are interested in it, right? They can order the set through, what we believe is flying our money, which we think is the correct avenue.
Awesome. Well, I think that sums it up. We're hitting our time now. I'm going to close it for any closing remarks, but I think this is great, and I'm wish you guys all the luck, and we'll be touching base offline as well. I've already sent you guys an email on a couple steps you could take in the direction of an NSN, or possibly getting that started, if you haven't already gone that route, as well as we'll be pinging with your EtherSprint coaches to help hopefully align those right stakeholders in the JPO offices. I know you guys are already talking there, but if there's anybody else that you have not yet spoken to that can help navigate the NSN and getting it into the supply system, I think that's the right way forward. And one, like, most of all, I really appreciate you guys' hard work and initiative towards this project, because I know it's been a long hurdle. I know you guys have been working on this project for quite some time now. And I know that there's been a significant amount of roadblocks, but appreciate the tenacity, and best of luck in the next couple weeks. And whether or not you make it to the finals, it's also important to note that we still help shepherd projects that don't make it all the way through, because they have initiative and motive from the field. So it's not like a one and done kind of thing. Okay, I'll leave it there. If there's any kind of outside questions or statements, I appreciate you guys all. Over.